So welcome to tonight's evening and this invitational evening for the Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium. And many of you have been with us here and there. Some of you are new. And so we just hold everyone in the space, and those who can't be with us tonight, you'll be getting this as a replay, and know that that energy and that love and that connection can moves through space. It's not dependent on your physicality, although that there is a magic to coming together, even on Zoom. And that bond, that intimacy, that growth of family, that relationship to whatever we're working on together, that we love for you to be fully present, and we invite that presence in terms of this group, and we'll be sharing a lot more tonight. So I guess I'll just introduce myself. My name is Shelley Darling, and I'm here in Australia on this lands of the Bundjalung people, on the Brunswick River watershed. And I welcome everyone as the original initiator of this collective, and we'll be sharing more about that. And as we open tonight, we always start with a heart resonance or centering to really bring the energies in as a collective. And we invite you to just ground yourself, open your heart, and bring that sense of willingness forward to stand at the edge of the unknown in uncharted waters, and allow that information field to really bring forth that which is the source of the calling here tonight. And we'll be coming together to understand more of what that is. So the consortium, some of our people on here tonight, and they'll be introducing themselves as well after we open with the heart resonance, have been with us many years, and some of them are the co-authors of the new book that we're writing together that's just gone to first edit, called Navigating Home: Restoring Resonance Through Radical Earth Heart Resonance. And we're going to be sharing a little bit more of what that is, and that which will become a part of this journey for all of us for the 12 weeks. So with that, the invitation is just to simply relax, feel your feet on the ground. Take a few deep breaths, and we're going to invite Charlie Riverman to open, followed by Deborah Cruz, and Tyson Bannigan, Najma Ahern, and then I'll come back in to weave those golden threads into this homecoming. It really is a homecoming. So with that, Charlie, I invite you to open up our call. And just a little housekeeping, just if you want to, sometimes I might use the spotlight. So if you don't like that and you want to just keep looking at the group, and that's mainly for people who are in the replay, just up in the right-hand corner, you can click on the view and choose gallery. So that's up to you. So thank you, everybody. Invite everyone to put themselves on mute as we open our call.
Blessings, everyone. As we come together tonight, I offer this crystalline structure to send us the energy from my heart to your hearts, knowing that as we gather here in this consortium, we are leaving the third dimensional expectations, and we're opening our hearts to a broader broadcast of everything that is needed for humanity and Mother Earth to come back into harmony and grace. That may sound strange to many people, but this is what we've learned in our journey over the past 9 or 10 years, how we can come into a place and not only just see it, but feel it, talk to it, understand it. And when we come together in our groups, we can do the same with each one of us. So I open this with love, peace, and light. May each of you receive that and know it comes from the highest source of all beingness throughout eternities. Aho Matakrio lesson. I now pass the crystal to whoever wants to be next.
I'll go next. Thank you, Charlie. That was beautiful. Let us, as we bring our hearts together and strengthen our circle by all participating today. We once again rejoice that we are together, sharing this beautiful resonance of Earth Heart. And once again, say thank you to our helping spirits and all the participants, seen and unseen, for joining us here today. That we may honor Gaia, that we may honor ourselves and all the other participants. That I'll pass the talking stick to, I believe, Tyson.
Welcome, everybody, and may we take another deep breath and connect to our hearts and open them wide. And imagine connecting to everybody else's heart in this group. And now broaden that horizon to connect to the heart of humanity. And now ground and connect to the heart of Mother Earth, to the heart of the solar system, the heart of creation and the galactic center. And may we be blessed and be guided by the heart of the book that we're writing and the lessons we've been learning. And may we be able to share this with you, the journey that we've been on, and we welcome the new discoveries that we will be able to experience as we journey together in this walk. So welcome, everyone. And I pass this on to the next person.
That must be me. Thanks, Tice. That was beautiful. I really feel that connection growing and deepening. Just take a few long, deep breaths and become conscious of the ground beneath your feet. And imagine a column of light stretching up from your feet through the spine, through the pineal, to the greater beyond, and connecting into this amazing 12 around 1 circle that we've gathered here tonight. It's morning here for me. It seems strange to say good night tonight. Yeah, just staying with the breath, staying with the realness of Mother Earth, and welcome the new people coming in tonight. Melissa, Judy, and I've forgotten your other name, sorry.
So continuing to be in that liminal space and just feeling that deep inner smile, that part of you that is here with anticipation and wonder and awe and all of that beautiful innocence. And as we breathe this space open, the sacred space, we call in and honor the ancestors, our light-bearing ancestors, and those ancestors that each one of us bring to the center of this circle. We honor the Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium, the book Deva, that is so excited that you're part of this journey. The Akashic record keepers, as we come into a deeper resonance with these incredible universal laws of love and the infinite wisdom of life itself, of nature herself, of the water herself, of the earth herself, of the winged ones in all beings, all relations, of the ether, the air. And we just open ourselves through our breath to that inspiration of life and feeling that expansion out from the sacred chamber of our heart. Into this beautiful web of life, or Indra's net. Just feel that level of coherence, resonance building into a greater coherence around the planet and then back to our own hearts, all moving in the natural order of synergy, and that the field itself is alive and the field itself is well. And we give great thanks to the celestial, terrestrial, aquatic, and solar energies. And we ask that any information for the highest good of all here tonight, for each one and us as a collective whole, come through. And we give great thanks. Great gratitude. And bringing that energy back to ourselves, that how we're showing up, how we've been, each one showing up in our lives. And let's just take a moment of silence. As we open to receiving each other in this beautiful, about to be sailing waka with ancient canoes. So be it and so it is. And gently just coming back into the room and presencing yourself, reorienting yourself. Take a look who's in our circle. And so be it. So everyone, it's with great joy. Judy, just so you know, you're up here. There you go. It's fine. Yeah, just want to welcome everybody who's here. And I've been feeling an incredible amount of joy. And some of you are just hearing about the consortium. And others have tapped in here and there. I personally want to, just with the people that are on here, I've just recently met Susie and excited to have you. Susie's already said absolutely yes. She's in. Nalasa, who last year we've been working together. She's an amazing being and glad that she's here. And she's now one of the evolutionary dowsing specialists. We still have yet to have a celebration, but that's coming up. And I also want to, Judy Gabriel, who's been in the consortium, and we are so excited to have you back. She's an incredible energy landscaper. So, and one of the SED Consortium circle. So, and then I want to also hold in people that I know, Kate, who I've been mentoring here in Australia, who will be with us on this journey, who's already said yes, who has a personal situation with her family tonight and couldn't make it. And to all of you who are listening on the replay, welcome, and so happy to have you. So tonight, this is an introductory evening, and we'd love to begin with each person sharing where you are located and what if you know, like what river or watershed you're in, and if you want to mention a mountain. But this is the most beautiful way to get to know someone. And if you know the ancestors of the land, please share that. But part of this journey is it's okay not to know. And part of this journey is to actually to be a part in that discovery of the sacred, of not only the sacredness of where you are, but the it's part of our consortium and how we work with people and how we work with the land, as you'll see, you know, to really get to know the history. And we're always surprised by that and its effect on the home and the land and the buildings that are around. So, and one other question. So just share your name, your location, your watershed or river or mountain, and then what's moving you in being called to be here. And in this evening, we'll also have the Consortium Field Advisors will introduce themselves after everyone has shared, and you know what's moving them and why what's unique and distinctive and why they're still here after many years, and some of them as authors of this latest book coming up. So with that, I've already introduced myself, so I'm just gonna let's have the people that are start with Judy Gabriel, and why don't you introduce yourself? And we're just asking that you share your location, your watershed, if you know it, and the traditional custodians of the land, if you know that, and then what's calling you to be here. All right. I'm gonna put myself on mute.
First off, I apologize for being in the car and the connection not being very well, and I was trying to switch over to my laptop and it's strong enough. Anyway, I'm just so very happy to be here. My heart is so full. I can just feel you all already, and just feels perfect timing. I am in Bend, Oregon. And I'm sorry, I really don't know all the specific names of the tribes and the those that hold space here, the ancestors. I'm learning, but the watershed that I'm near, very near, is the Deschutes River, and I've been having fun spending some time on it, kayaking, etc. And I've been spending a lot of time also at the coast, so there with the Pacific Ocean. I was fortunate enough to be part of the original sacred evolutionary dowsing group, and I love everybody, and it's just so good to see your faces, and I'm just very much looking forward to this next part of the journey. It feels like a beautiful continuation, and just my heart's wide open. So thank you. Thanks for the call.
Feel free to just pop in. Okay, Nalasa, you want to jump in?
I'll go next. Hello everyone. I am Nalasa. I am currently in Spain. I have only been here, I guess, 10 days or so. I do not know the watershed that is by me, though it is really interesting because the road, we're like in the middle of nowhere, and we're in southern Spain in Andalusia. about an hour from the coast driving. And the road that we actually get to the house is driving in a dried up riverbed. And the riverbed is dried up. It's probably been dried up for a really long time, and it goes all the way out to another town, but it's a really large winding river. And so we've been walking in that, and I was just like, we were just even today envisioning like what it would have been like when it was full and how much lusher the land would be, because we're surrounded by olive trees and almond trees. And yeah. What was the other question? Name, location, Spain, don't know the watershed, though we are in the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Why are you feeling
in
called
southern
here?
Spain.
What-
And why am I here? Why am I here? Because I felt called to be, really. I've spent time in Sedona. I've done all these different things. I've had an amazing time training with you, Shelley. And yeah, the opportunity seemed like the right thing to do for being able to be in this type of space, connecting at this type of level with different people to see what happens.
Yeah, thank you. I probably would be good to just refine that question. So what's calling you to be part of working with a group, and which you did share. So thank you. If you have anything else, feel free, and then, yeah. Susie, you're on mute. There you go.
I will go next. So I'm in Sedona, Arizona, and Oak Creek. I just looked up the watershed is a perennial spring-fed stream that stretches 50 miles from its headwaters in Oak Creek Canyon and flows through Sedona, Page Springs, and Cornville to its confluence with the Verde River. So that's what the watershed is. Let's see what else here. The mountains are, well, up in Flagstaff, which is about 25 miles from here, are the most sacred mountains for the Hopi tribe. And the Hopi and the well, what is the other? And the Navajo and the Apache. There's another tribe too, are all parts of this area. And Boynton Canyon in Sedona was their most sacred place. And when my son told me about it years ago and he was living here, he mentioned hiking in Boynton Canyon, and I felt this pull from my belly to Boynton Canyon. And I thought, I have to go to Sedona. I don't know anything about it. And he moved away and I moved here. So it's an incredibly sacred place with lots of vortexes and hundreds of them actually, and 7 major ones. And lots of things happen here. And, you know, extraterrestrially and indigenously. And I had the first time I hiked the mountain in Boynton Canyon, the flowers spoke to me. And I had an experience with a temple that was here when it was nothing but water. So it's a very magical place. And let's see what else. The reason I'm here is I belonged to the Dowsers in Portland years ago and studied with a man who dowsed for 50 years. And I could never get my mind to let go. And because I've had a lot of physical things going on over the past 5 years, especially, I got helped by a dowser in the next town. And it came to me that, okay, I really need to learn dowsing. I've been thinking about it for the last few months. So that's why I'm here. And also, because I do sound, sacred sound, and I want to bring that to people so that they can help Mother Earth through this end of the ages time that we're at, through all the traumas that are coming. So
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all. So let's pass this to our consortium field advisors. Let's hear from you. And
Yeah,
Chris,
I can jump on and say, Susie, I love where you are and respect that area. And out of coincidence, I was about to teach a dowsing class in Sedona. It was all scheduled, and then even the place was rented, and then we had COVID, so it all came to an end.
Huh.
But yeah, which is all going to be at the vortexes that you're talking about. So my name is Tyson Bannigan. I live in the Shuswap, which is a First Nations name. The tribe that is here is in the Sconalith Nation. It's the home of my adopted grandmother, who's passed on to the other side, who taught me Indigenous wisdom. I live beside Shuswap Lake, which has 1,000 kilometers of foreshore. It's a huge lake in the shape of a giant H. So water is very much part of why I'm here. It's also a safe zone. So if you understand, I'll just briefly say that in this transmutation we're going with these earth changes, this is known as a hologram or a safe place for transformation. So people are gathered here, like to Sedona, to the energy of our mountain, which is Mount Ida, which is a sacred volcano in a vortex, and very much like Sedona. So anyway, that's where I live. And why am I here? Well, good question. I've been writing this book that's taken a while to do, and it's been exciting to learn that you really aren't writing a book, you're being still enough to listen to what the diva of the book wants to teach you. So it's been a path of humility and opening our hearts and learning how to listen, both individually and as a group, and also how to let go of stuck energy when we think we already know, or we want to talk too much or interrupt each other or get in our own way of how to, I guess, play better in the sandbox. And we're hoping that this will help other people when they come together as groups, how to learn how to play nicely and listen to the energy of guidance from Diva, the Diva Kingdom, and unseen forces, and also be guided by the heart of Mother Earth. So that's a little bit about me and why I'm here.
Wow. It's amazing, Tyson. I'm Najma. I'm in Far North Queensland in Australia, the highest town in Queensland called Ravenshoe. My mountain would have to be Mount Bartle Frere, which is a little way from me, but it's the highest mountain in Queensland. I'm right adjacent to the World Heritage Wet Tropics area. It's highland, very special country, just really, really special here. Where else? What's it? Sacred Mountain, the rivers, the mill stream. What's the other thing? Anyway, what I wanted to say was I was so excited with Susie with what you were saying when you mentioned the Hopi. And I wanted to say something that Shelley might not know, because she's in the town Mullumbimby where I used to live for 30 years. I moved up here a couple of years ago, retired. But I wanted to say something about the connection with the Hopi people and where you are in Sedona and where Shelley is in Mullumbimby, because the sacred mountain in Mullumbimby is called Mount Wollumbin. And I worked with an Aboriginal lady who's now passed on, Lorraine Maffey-Williams. And we had a Indian, I think he was Hopi, Robert Morningsky, come to the area. And we had a sacred, what happened was Lorraine did this research. She was a filmmaker, and she had an office in New York for a while, but she was doing this research to see if anybody of the indigenous tribes in America had the same stories that she had from her area here. And the story was that the mountain Wollumbin belonged to someone else. And it turned out the same story lined up with the Hopi tribe. And so Robert Morningsky, she ended up visiting and talking with the elders. But anyway, Robert Morningsky came to Mullumbimby, and they went up to the top of Wollumbin, and they did a sacred handing over the mountain back to the Hopi, and then Robert handed it back for the custodianship for Lorraine, who was representing the Bundjalung people of the area. So Shelley, where you're living there, right behind you, is Wollumbin, and yeah, there's a whole connection. It was originally in the Aboriginal law, belonged to the Hopi tribe, and somehow in the Great Cataclysm, something happened, and here we are with that connection now. So welcome, Susie. I'm really inspired by your enthusiasm and the connection, what Tyson just spoke about. And I guess why I'm here is because I was passionate about writing this book. I've been part of the Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium from its inception, like Judy, who was on that first call. And I've learned so much from being in this group. I'm a little bit of a loner in my world, but this has really been helping me work collaboratively with people who are on the same wavelength as I am, working with the heart, working with when I'm not doing writing a book or doing bookkeeping. I'm a craniosacral practitioner, and I have clients here, and I've been working in the healing arts for 30 years. So I'm very tuned into the energetics. But what is different for me in being part of the consortium is just coming into heart resonance and really working from that space. It's more a no mind space, just being present to what's arising and being trusting to just go with that. So I'll hand the baton over to one of my other group members. Thank you for listening.
I can go next. My name's Deborah Cruz. I live the past 2 months, 2+ months now. I moved from California. I'm now in North Tacoma on the shores of Commencement Bay in the Puget Sound area. When I'm on the water walk next to the bay, which is about a block and a half from where I'm living, you can look to the east and see Mount Rainier very clearly, and look to the west and see Hurricane Ridge and the mountains in that direction. The whales are here, the orcas are here. A lot of sea life you could see right from shore. And although I haven't seen any whales yet in the past 2 months, oh, you can definitely feel their presence. I originally joined the consortium in 2019 and was joined it because as a long-time American Society of Dowsing member, I just wanted to really hone my dowsing skills. And I was at a point in my dowsing skills where I trusted my responses. And that, of course, well, for those of you who trust your intuition, as compared to maybe earlier in your life when you didn't, it's a huge shift. And I wanted to take it bigger because my calling here is to serve Gaia in this time of ascension, and to serve Gaia in whatever way I am called to do. And so it was time to stop being an individual. It was time to stop working just on individual properties with individual other participants, and really to play a bigger game. Much to my surprise, after I'd been with the group maybe 6 or 7 months, it was now 2020. Shelley said, well, it's time to get back to the book. And I'm like, book? Nobody mentioned a book. And it's just been a huge opportunity to work on the book and have the consistency. It's have the consistency of coming together once or more a week with the same people to work on the same overall objective of tuning into this field we call the radical earth heart resonance field, and to do it well, on call. It's like grace on call. And that's why I'm here and continue to be here. I'm complete.
Thank you all. So you can see already there's this immersive opportunity to sort of open the aperture to each other. And included in that aperture is the center of what we call, of the 12 around one. We'll share a little bit more about that, which is the heart, which is radical earth heart resonance. And I'll just kind of do this for myself a minute. So, let's see, hold on one second. Okay, here we go. So radical earth heart resonance has been the evolution of a journey that began in 2015. And that journey began with a relationship with Aotearoa, New Zealand, the people of that land. And I began to discover that their history went beyond 700 years. And that through meeting a man named Barry Brailsford, who was a Maori culture professor, one of the top professors, and that there was 2,500 years ago a confederation of people called Waitaha. And all of this you can learn more about, and will be once we begin sailing together in what we're calling this waka. I don't know why, hold on one second. Okay, there we go. So what we're calling the waka. Why are we saying it waka? What's a waka? And a waka is the ancient canoe. And it's the ones that came, the double hulled canoes where people that were hearing the call would come and gather. 2,500 years ago, went to Easter Island and ended up in New Zealand. But the most important thing for right now is understanding that they were the people, they lived the way of peace. And their focus at that time was this ponamu, the green stone, which is called the stone of peace or the God stone. And essentially, when we're coming together for this sacred evolutionary dowsing consortium, we're coming together as opening and listening to being those conduits for, yes, balance and harmony on the planet. But to instill a level of connection to the earth and this sense of peace, right? This way of peace. How do we actually do it? How do we come together as a collective and maintain what we're describing as heart resonance? A place where there's a sense of flow, there's an ebb, just like the tides, right? We're connecting with water, we're connecting with each other's waters. So for me, when this nudge began to happen, it was a sense of bring together all these people, all these, whoever wants to, alchemists, planetary healers, massage therapists. Not everyone had to be a dowser, but to come together with the understanding that together we're greater than the sum of our parts. Now that was said in 2015. Now we've known that number one, we're bridge walkers. We're we're land stewards. We're here to help open up the awareness and understanding, within ourselves, each other, and others and all of our relatives to create this understanding of living in a whole system. And that this, what we're calling the field or the unified field, you know, the field itself, this actual movement of energy is intelligent, and that consider like a mother wave, a wave calling us into our highest potential, that it's always moving into its highest potential. And when, you know, when we come in resonance as a group and start working together, something magic happens. Something births itself, call it new solutions. But when we're willing, it's, as you know, was being shared, you know, when we begin to learn how to move in resonance as a collective on this ocean of love, you know. So it's less about, okay, we're starting at A and we're going to B, you know. We're actually, just like the name of the book that we're writing, as Judy was, you know, as Deb was saying, you know, like, what book? You know, I always knew that in amongst this group that a book would be written. And what Tyson was saying also was that the book began to write us. You know, how is it that, you know, after 4 years of coming together at least twice, if not 3 times a week, with marathons in between, that this book's voice, what began to start as heart resonance, right? This place where we come together and we feel our communion with the field, with Gaia itself. Understanding group resonance. What is that? How do we do that? How do we maintain that when somebody gets triggered? You know, because we're going to get triggered on this journey. There are challenges, right? And how do we stay and return to love, right? So, and then moving that forward as the book began to reveal to us, now consider earth heart resonance, where we align as a collective with the heart of the earth. What does she want? What are her needs? What are the land's land needing? What is the land speaking? How do we come in contact with the elementals and the nature spirits? And what is that? What's the protocol for that? You know, I mean, this is a discovery, a place of exploration. And in that exploration, there's a sense of joy. And then finally, you know, radical earth heart resonance. What the hey is that? You know, but she began to define herself as this quintessential quickening that happens when we come together. And when we are, when we are willing to feel, and we get that it's a safe space, and there's this tremendous transparency that happens. And I'm not holding on, oh, this is my information. Oh my God, I can't share that with you because you're going to take it. You know, that's some of the things that we've evolved, you know, in this consortium. That's part of the playing field here. You know, and eventually what evolved itself is as the 3 harmonic octaves. And within that is 12 attributes. And these attributes inform us as a group. And then imagine as you're, you know, where finally everybody's aboard this waka and we're sailing. And we're listening to what it is that we have to pay attention to. Where do our energies want to meld together, blend together? And even in a way, bleed together, you know, and we bring our collective attention to a piece of land or the earth itself or the water, whatever it is, you know, and we will be informed of where we need to pay attention to. You know, in the past, the consortium has, and you'll be hearing about this, you know, in the past, we've paid attention to places like Washington, D.C., or, you know, a tiny house community in Portland, Oregon, or a place in Chicago that was incredibly violent, and there was able to a community built, and Dowsing had a part to that, and everybody who was in the consortium had a voice in that up-leveling of that energy of the spirit of place and working with the spirit of place. So these are some of the things that you might think you came in for a particular reason, but you're going to be really surprised at what begins to happen here. And that's really what you're stepping into, is this opportunity to, like I said, stand at the edge of the horizon in somewhat of uncharted waters and begin to see and trust the field itself, but trust yourself, and what some of the people that have been expressing is, this was amazing to me, because this has been happening since 2015, these different consortium groups. Always 12 though, never more than 12. And we'll share a little bit about that. So is that everybody who, some people stay and some people take their experience and move on and open other, our part of our intention in this group and this book is that people will take this information and start their own groups and understand and have some additional skills of how to do that. Because you will get that, you will gain that. So these 12 weeks in sailing together are really an opportunity to come into some of these things that I've been mentioning. So with that, let's maybe just bring in about, well, why are we talking about the 12 around 1? And what does it mean to be informed by the field? So we're just going to touch into a couple of things. And then we're going to open it up again for everyone to share. One of the beautiful things is to be what I call self-referential, because a group can't maintain itself unless we begin to understand and learn about self-ownership and not, if someone gets triggered or I get triggered, I'm not here. I'm actually in an agreement field, not to blame it have it be about anybody else, but to actually bring it back home here. So that's part of what we call the home frequency. We come back to ourselves, and the collective is here to support that, because that's an evolution of our own personal growth. And I think that was something that I also realized way back was, some of us think, oh, I can't join a group until I really, do my own personal work. And what I discovered, and maybe some others will speak to this, is what I discovered is actually when we work as a group and we're willing to learn and grow, then the individual personal growth becomes exponential. It's phenomenal. And what we begin to learn is, as we learn how to sort of flow with the tides and allow, the people who like to speak out a lot, they come back in their body a little bit, and the people who are a little bit shyer start to feel like safe enough to come out, is that there's this receptivity where the field itself and where the earth can speak and really reveal to us, and the water can reveal to us the power of reciprocity, so I think that's enough for now. That's kind of dropping some droplets in this ocean, and let's just open it up a little bit, just to bring in why the 12 around 1. And that was really directly spoken to me in the beginning, because it is a sacred geometry pattern that has its own energy. And I'm going to just invite Tyson and Charlie to speak a little bit about that. And you guys can keep it somewhat shorter than probably myself. But yeah, let's feed the field here so that you guys understand a little bit. And then I think maybe we'll just open it up for some questions, so that if there's any burgeoning questions or ahas you're getting, to invite those that are here to stepping in to share. And I'm complete, and I pass it over to you, Tyson, and then you can pass it to Charlie.
Oh my goodness, I have to say something. Yeah, 12 around 1, the sacred geometry 12 around 1 is quite amazing. The 12-pointed star, another way to look at it is the Trinity times 4, right? In the creation. So it's a very, very powerful a symbol of manifestation. And so if we look at the history, we have uh, 12 disciples around Christ, or the Christed energy. We have 12 Knights Templar. We have 12 around the table of King Arthur. And notice it's a circle, right? It's around the center. 12 crystal skulls around the center. And so the legends go on about the unity of 12. So it's a joining together. The geometry of it is a multiplier effect of bringing hearts together around one common frequency, whether you call it the field, you call it God, you call it whatever it is that you want, the unified field, your super conscious. It's such a power that is so transformative that, well, I think the best way to describe it is magic happens. Things that just appear and disappear. Learning happens in ways that is astounding. So for me, I've always known intuitively, because of back to the land in the 70s and the need and desire to come together in community, that learning to work together. I thought it was living together, but actually community of like-minded people coming together to me and learning how to do that, because we're not taught in our culture how to do that. We're taught how to be competitive, how to compete. But as a group, when we come together, to me, that's the next evolutionary step for humanity, is learning how to do this as a group. Because if you think you've got everything worked out and you go home for Christmas to your family, you realize, whoops, maybe you don't have everything worked out. And when you do that with 12 other people that are rugged individuals like Dowsers, energy healers, global transmutational people, then you're going to bump up and discover that there's things that we need to let go of. And the beauty of that is when we do let go of that trauma, those things that trigger us, and we go focus to the heart of creation, that inner field of unity, then amazing things can happen. So anyway, that's my attempt to try and explain something that's almost impossible to explain, is what's the power of 12 around one. Charlie, it's your turn.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Charlie Riverman, and there's not much I can add to that, Tyson. However, I will. As you know, I'm the person who always adds something, whether you want to hear it or not. And the reason I do that is partly because I died 20-something years ago and I came back. And so I have a connection with a higher source of beingness and a communication system that I can't understand, and I've never understood it. But I know that when I met Shelley, and she was about 2 miles away from my house, coming from California, and she was going to teach dowsing. And through all the things I'd been through, I didn't know how to douse. I didn't trust myself. And meeting Shelley, she made me trust myself. And I actually had her stand on my feet and say, you don't know who I am, but I'm here to help you. And that's how our journey began. And this consortium wasn't even conceived of at that end, but they were a group of people that had come together and done a global heart resonance event. And I was on that call. I was on that first call, or the first call. And what I realized that all of this was related to what I'm here. As you see, my name says Earth Angel. And that's what I was called. This is the Earth Angel here. This is what I was given by an indigenous woman who said she had been waiting for me. Now, I'm not trying to say this to make myself sound, better than anyone else. This is my journey. And what it has brought me to is this consortium. And in this consortium, what's amazing is that 12 around principle is so ancient. It goes back to thousands and thousands of years ago. And if you look at all of our way we measure things, it's 12. You have 12 hours, you have 12 months, you have again 12, 12, 12, 12. You'll find this out throughout the ancient history of humanity. It has always been 12 around because it's an energy field. And the way I look at it is that 12 around one, that one is who we really are at a level of we can't even fathom. But all of this, and it comes to our heart. This is the one, the heart. And when we come together in this consortium, this is what I've learned, and we've all learned, is that we come in with understanding that we've been taught for thousands of years that didn't have a very good cohesive harmonic rhythm. It would always burst into flares and waves that are be out of control, just like our weather does, just like the oceans do. They roar, this because it didn't have the source. The one is the source. And that's how I'm just going to explain it as that is source energy. And without that source energy, none of this exists. So what we're doing, my way I say this, is we come or sit around that circle, around that source energy, and each one of us tap into that. And we allow ourselves to let go of the mind and open the heart. And this is what heart resonance is about for me, is opening the heart to listen. The brain has its own battlefield, it has its own confusion. But when we listen from our heart, we have a completely different understanding. And I know that may sound totally preposterous to many people, but what we've learned, and this is what we've written about in the book, that all of the teachings that we've had all along are all valid, but without that heart resonance, they're inefficient. And what we've learned in this consortium is that by opening our hearts and trusting ourselves and trusting everybody else's heart in that circle, we reach another level of awareness within ourselves that helps us not only with dowsing, but with everything. It shifts our conscious awareness in ways that we can't even imagine until we actually do it. So bless you all who seek to join and be with us, and we hope that you get some of that energy and you realize how powerful you truly are. And especially when we're healing lands or water or whatever it is that needs healing or shifting or changing or rearranging, that's coming from that heart, that one, the 12 around. We are tapping into that and allowing it to flow into the third dimension. So that's my story on it, and I hope I wasn't too long.
Can I ask where you're from, Charlie, and all of what your watershed and all that?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm from York, Maine, which is on the east coast of of America. My mountain is Mount Agamenticus. My river is the Agamenticus. They call it the York River, but it was originally called the Agamenticus, and it was now my brain fog's going to hit in and say it was by the Abenaki. So there were Abenaki tribes. Some of them were split up into smaller groups, but basically the general indigenous beings here were all part of the Abenaki tribes. And that's where that mountain was a sacred place. The river was a sacred place, and they named the mountain for the river. And what I have there is I have a grid up there that when we do dowsing, we connect it to it. So we have the mountain, we have the water, and then we have ourselves. So there's a triad, that heart resonance, and that triad is, again, when you think about sacred geometry, what is a triad? It's one half of the Merkaba. So you have triads and triads. So it all brings us back to sacred geometry, which was the structures that were used. And when you look at the ancient structures around the earth that we're still uncovering, and they keep saying, well, we don't know. Well, they don't want to know, because those were living civilizations. We don't have the technology to build those buildings now. And those buildings that they built thousands of years ago, buried underground, that they're finding, were aligned with the stars. So the wisdom of then and the ability to live then was far greater than just a bunch of scattered tribes. The scattered tribes came after living civilizations. And that's what we do here in the consortium, is we invite all of that to inspire us, all of that to teach us. And it's all coming through the heart and then to the brain. And this is the clearing of the brain when we trust our heart in a group, and we can know when we're out of control, and we can pause, and we can recognize that. It clears everything. So that's part of our journey. And the book has been amazing. It's taught us so many things. It's taken us to levels that we never even consciously thought about. And so that's why we welcome everybody here. And in the same process, we heal the world around us and heal people around us, their homes, their lives. And so it's a win-win-win. Bless you all.
I'd
Thank
just
you,
like to
Charlie.
add to that just for a sec. And that is, it just came to me, and thank you, Charlie, that's really what it is, the whole concept of 12 around, whether it's the Knights Templar, or whether it's Christ, whether it's, 12 crystal skulls, whatever the 12 is, it's all about service. It is delivering the heart, is bringing the hearts together collectively to reach out to the heart of humanity, or the heart of the earth, or the heart of cosmos. So it's all service oriented, greater than ourselves. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. So thank you.
That's actually really perfect, because that's what was moving in me, was that when you take all of that's been talked about here, and then you apply that energy to, some people call it sacred activism. It's very different than people going out together and as a group and going and protesting, or not. It's distinctive, because we're listening. And one thing that I want to say is I really want to bring in the animals and the animal totems. They've been like, nah. Like, how about us? The really, the joy of some of the totems. I'm in Australia, and the kookaburras are like, to wake up in the morning, and they always go off exactly at about 5:20, and maybe a couple minutes before, a couple minutes after, but they're always there. And that, I think it got brought back here as a remembering of to be able to wake up in that joy, to come together in that sense of joy. So, so let's open it up. I think we've shared a lot, and I'll just tie in the book at the very end. And this group is a unique group. I might as well just say it right now. It's because we will involve the book. You will be invited to, we'll be exploring some parts of the book and bringing them in. And your feedback is going to influence and inform that book, because it's only in its first edit. So I think that's really beautiful in terms of you're feeling that calling to come in at this time. It's something that we've never ever done before. And so I don't know exactly how that's going to look. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but just let's open it up and just invite people to if you have questions, or you want to share what's emerging for you, or what your excitement is, that's all fine. Just keep it to about 2 minutes so that we can popcorn a little bit. And and know that you're a conduit for other people's questions as well. So feel free. And just open up your mic and feel free to jump in.
I'm excited about the 12 because for years I've been wanting to do circles with 12 people. Because I have a book that is called, I don't remember. Uh, but it talked about using music and sound and that kind of thing. And if you were to get 12 people of 12 different astrological signs and do healing work as a group, miracles could happen. And so you're doing it. So without the astrological signs, you're doing it. And that's exciting to me.
Just tell a quick little story, just to demonstrate the power of 12 around one. Again, it's connected to Sedona, and it was first crystal skull gathering where the skull of love, which is the Mitchell Hedges skull, was front and center for 3 days of gathering, and I had the honor and privilege of being able to experience it. And one of the things that we did is the crystal skull, which is the size of a human hand and pure crystal, was on a dais that was rotated around the table of 12. And 12 of us sat around the table, and he moved the crystal skull so that you were eye to eye with it for a period of time, then moved it to the next person, and we went clockwise. And I can tell you there was so much energy generated. This was a huge, like, circus tent with the rods that were into the ground or like that big with big eye hooks on them that were for the ropes. The whole tent was vibrating. It felt like all those pegs were going to be ripped right out of the ground. And there was so much energy that they scrambled 2 jets to fly over the top of the tent to see what we were doing. That's how powerful the signature was. So I got to experience firsthand that this is not just woo-woo. This is not just talking about something. This is energy that is indescribable, right? This is the energy that moves mountains. This is the energy that provides intergalactic travel. It's the energy of unidentified flying. I mean, I could go on. It's just absolutely God-smacking powerful. Anyway, that's the end of the story.
Thanks, Tyson. So
I
we're gonna.
just like to say what just quickly. Now I forget what I was going to say. It was God. I'm sorry. I'll come back in.
Okay. So what I want to just say right now is like for the Consortium Field Advisors, let's hold back and let's just see if, I'm also really feeling Judy, who has been in the consortium, and, she has it'll be really, I'm excited because, yeah, if there's anything, emerging in you to share, like anything that you're noticing from the time that you were in before to now, and yourself, would love you to share. Yeah, I'm just very excited to, yeah, I mean, really, honestly, Judy is a field advisor. She's been with us for quite a long time, and sometimes our journeys take us elsewhere. So just, yeah, I want to just invite you and Nalisa, if you're wanting to share, to do that before we pop in. Okay, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Is the mute off? There. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh. Yeah, I was just thinking how I've changed and how it does feel different. And I know everyone can relate to trying to shift from a place of doing and accomplishing and knocking things off and coming more from the heart and being. And that a lot is, I think, what the 12 around one is being in that circle, in that oneness, in a group sense. And the power that Tyson was talking about comes from each of us actually going to that heart place, uniting that with that center focus with source. And if you direct that towards anything, it's obviously going to be magically healing, no matter what. And so just as I'm listening, and the shift to less of an agenda and more trusting as to what emerges, and really being led and listening, just following, listening to that, the intuition. It's just really beautiful. It's very gentle, it's very loving, and yeah, I think extremely powerful. So, yeah. For me, when I had to leave the consortium, I have had health issues, and I've moved, I've changed relationships, pretty much everything in my life is different. So it's beautiful to come back into it. I did, where did it go now? I did look up the indigenous people here. So there's a 640,000 acre reservation right up near us, and it's from 3 tribes: the Warm Springs, Wasco, and Paiute. And the Warm Springs Reservation also is has like between 5,000 and 7,000 wild horses, and it's one of the things I'm doing is working at a horse sanctuary that's rescuing the babies when they get the others off the trucks, the glue factories, etc. But anyway, that's the tribe, and then the mountains that I love, so grateful and honored to look at every morning when I wake up. We have 7 mountains that we look out at, the 3 sisters being 3 of them, and so they're very powerful. So I wanted to honor them and bring them as part of my grounding team. And just to say, Michelle, you mentioned the animals, and for me, always the elementals, the actual beings, the water, the fire, the air, the wind, that are our partners in this invisible process. And I just feel like they're so present, so happy that we're all together.
Yes, thank you.
Really happy to be here. Nice to meet you all.
Beautiful. Nalasa, do you want to just pop in? Is there anything that's moving with you? And then we'll begin to pull these threads together and close our call tonight.
There isn't that much. I've also spent time in Sedona, so I just wanted to say that to you, Susie. And I was recognizing, is your background of your photo Switzerland or no? I can't hear you. You're on mute. But
Yes, I think so. I had to have water since we
yeah.
don't have much water here.
And just for reference, I was born in California in the Bay Area, and I grew up just because of locations and stuff. I'm clearly not a resident of Spain. I grew up in a mix of the Boston, Massachusetts area and the Bay Area, and I currently am pretty nomadic. I live about half the year in Edinburgh, and then go back to the East Coast and different places depending on where I end up. So yeah. No, everything was great. Yeah, it's interesting. One of the 12 around 1 thing I made me think of inches and feet. This 12 inches make a foot. And yeah, I had never really thought about it before, but it's been really nice to hear all your different takes on it, and just the historical references of things. I've worked with different group work in the past of tuning in, and I've had some small groups and also larger groups of really tuning into what some people have called the 0 point, but essentially source energy, and then creating from that place of what's there. And so I'm excited to be partaking in that in another round of exploration and new people.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we're excited to have you all. So, as Judy was sharing,
Can I just ask,
yeah, go ahead.
can I just ask how she pronounces your name? Sorry, no, Lhasa? I'm trying to read
Nalasa.
underneath your name. Nalasa?
Nalasa.
Thank you.
I know. Took me a
Yeah,
while.
thanks,
It took
Judy.
me a while to get to that. It's still, I was still like, and I can hear myself checking myself. So yeah, so here's the thing, and everybody who's listening and watching this replay, as you can see already, the sparks are happening where, where even Judy looked up who were the custodians of the land and the mountains, and that's really what's going on behind the scenes is we are being invited to wake up to our relationships with the original people, with now I won't do a dowsing without doing a land acknowledgement, and we'll be speaking more to that. And so this is where the toolbox becomes exponential, because you get to, every time we come together and that support goes on even if we're not together, that there is a sense of tended relationship, right? We're being tendered by the earth, by all this energy, and we're tendering with each other. I never ever really thought about it like that. So that's what kind of keeps happening, is like, oh, I never really thought about that. Oh my God, I never really thought. And that's the beauty of of working as a co-creative space. And I like to think of it as a co-mentoring space, because I'm not the teacher here. Tyson is not the teacher here. Najma is not the teacher. We'll be sharing our gifts, our wisdom, our, even our vocations, but it's about the love. It's about what's really moving us to really create an empowered space and an empowered life. So that's really our focus. I also want to just pick up on a thread that Julie was talking about in terms of agenda. And for some people, this is very tricky, and is so, when you see a lot of courses, they list out this week, this week, this week, this week, and what's going to happen all 12 weeks. And we definitely want to have an outline of a sense of where we're going. But the beauty of this group is the letting go, is the surrendering to not to stick to that agenda. Let's just, as an example, like if someone gets triggered or someone is having an emotional moment, you can trust that it's for all of us. So the energy is asking us to turn, to really, the compass is, when you're sailing in a boat, it's never you're going in a straight line. The compass is, you're always on either side of that. So you're moving with the wind, right? So we're moving with what is calling for our attention. And that's really important, so that everybody gets to really not only pick up their paddle, be a part of this waka, but that they feel supported and held. And that's one of the amazing things of working with heart resonance is that. So, obviously there's a lot more to this, but I just wanted to speak to that. So if you're looking for total structure, it could be said, well, maybe this isn't the right group. But if you like structure, and you are open to the movement of the wind, of what's going to come through, then we all get to learn something. And those who are unstructured, who have been less structured, let's say in the past, like myself, get to learn how to be more in that confluence. But it's the boat that is the structure. The waka has to be stable and strong. And I think that's what we've been building all these years, is a container, a vessel that is sailable, and that we're all navigators, and we take turns being navigators. So I think that's a great place to end this call. And I just want to share that what was really interesting, this little book called Wisdom of the Four Winds has been an incredible, this is written by Barry Brailsford, and a place called Temple of the Four Winds, which is in New Zealand, and it's a school of knowledge that that was called a Wananga, which is an ancient school of knowledge where people would come to learn these ancient skills. And you'll hear more about that as we're going through the 12 weeks. It always tends to weave itself. But I just wanted to share that this card, I haven't pulled a card in a long time, and a little different than the tarot, but basically it was the child of the West, and it was eel, and it was determination. And just to share into the field a little bit, because it was really speaking to where I feel where we're all coming in. It's what we're coming into, and really understanding the forgotten dream and the remembering that we're going to do, because it's not just about sharing our skills, it's about our collective remembering and remembering what the dream is, and the dream for, as everyone's shared about humanity, and really serving that. So that's what this was all about. And I'm going to put my glasses on for this. And so tuna or eel enters our life at a significant moment. It brings to us the wondrous realm of the west wind, the place where we pause to reflect upon the journey. This is the burning ground of life, where everything we have gathered is tested for its place in the seasons to come. See what might now be set aside. Remember that water sustains you in the West. It cleanses virtues away and the detritus of the past to let you go freely into tomorrow. Understanding born of truths long hidden provides the power, and I'm just going to say, to carry us forward. Commitment is now our friend on the long trail, and with it comes the determination and courage to see you through. When we are in harmony with our uniqueness, nothing can stop us from attaining our dreams. Tuna announces the quickening, the return of ancient knowledge that is our birthright. Sacred lore lost to many in this age of separation, but awaits our call. What seems gone can now be recovered, for we are in the realm of the seer. Hope is our companion and friend. Tuna opens the way, affirms the journey, and says that while obstacles await us as travelers, they are but small steps onto the ladder of learning. When we are clear about who we are free to move with determination, knowledge, and remembering. We know and only need to remember. Great strength comes from the following the excitement deep within our being. It is of the remembering, and it guides us back to the inner realm of knowing. And we'll speak to more about that. It reveals our purpose and gives to us life anew. So find strength in your song, hidden far too long. Seek within for the flame that bears your name. Dream your dream and follow the magic stream. So with that, the magic stream is this pulse of life that we as a collective begin to start to follow in these 12 weeks. And I think that's all that needs to be said. So I just want to thank you all for showing up. The journey begins for those who are listening. I think I'll just put this on a second.
We need to close the circle.
Yeah, we will. Hold on. Yep, we will. We always close a circle.
Could you hold the card up?
Oh, sure. Maybe not.
Maybe not, it's gone.
No. And eel or tuna has a certain and here's the back. This is the Tuatara. So the Tuatara is the keeper of knowledge in the ancient realm in Aotearoa. And so we will close the circle. What I want to say before the circle closes is that so we will begin this journey next week. Same time, it will be a 2-hour journey each week. We'll speak more to the details as we come together next week. There is space for more people to be part of this 12 around one, and sometimes this sparks something in someone, please feel free to share the email, not with the Zoom link, that would be great. But they can contact me and we can have a discovery session and just kind of see what, the understanding that this is a personal invitation, for those that really match and are really looking to work with a group like this, who've been working alone, but really get what the power of working together. So feel free, please, to share the emails that you've gotten with a personal message from what's moving you. And we'll see you next week. And also, if anything comes up during the week, please feel free to get a hold of me and we can clear that up as well. So thank you, everyone. And we'll just take a moment to close the records. We just love you. We love you. We love you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Aha, ashe, aho, mitakrasan. And we thank all of our ancestors and seen and unseen spirit helpers. We thank the Deva of the book who's riding along with us. Nature spirits, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, elementals, and Mama Gaia herself. And we thank the ancient water keepers, the Waitaha, for being with us, for continuing to sail and supporting this navigation home to our hearts. And just open it to any of the field advisors if there's anything else they want to add, and we'll see you next week. Anything that I missed?
I'll be in Belize next week from a different watershed, but I won't be able to join. So I'll be sending you all love and warm sunshine.
All right. Thank you, Judy.
Have a fantastic time, and thank you, Shelley and everyone else.
All right. So blessings to everyone. And we'll just hold this 12 around one, that exactly who's meant to be moving with us will be there. And yeah, love to you all. Blessings, everyone who's watching this replay.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Blessings.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Woohoo.
Thank you.
Thank you.